Void Tune is back, and now we are ready to talk about the mid-season power rankings for Survivor 48. I'm having fun this season. This is a fun season, and I'm actually in a good mood to talk about it and express it. This is definitely a redemption moment time for me because 47, I fell flat on my face throughout the entire season, and this is definitely my rebound season, and I'm just loving it all in all. I love the players, I love the story, I love what what the meanings, what they're trying to showcase. It's all just great, and I can't wait to talk about it right now. The theme of this season definitely seems to be like honor, integrity, and just sort of being like a more truthful version of yourself. And I don't know exactly how the direction of the game will go dependent on that, but I'm here for the ride. I'm ready to talk about it, so let's dive into it, starting with our pre-mergers to begin with. First, we got our first boot in Stephanie. Didn't get much from Stephanie on the show. From what we did get, she sort of had a slow approach to the game, which he wanted to build relationships first before strategizing with people. That led to her downfall when she went up against both Say and Kevin who ran laps around her, which resulted in her being the first one out. Then we have Kevin, the opposite of Steph, where he overplayed himself in trying to get Say out, in which Say turned on him and then convinced both Cedric and Justin to turn on him as well, with some gleaming strategic errors along the way. Then we have Justin. Whew. Screwed over player of the season, definitely. It took such a trigger point of events in order to get him out. First, he lost his vote on a journey. Then, Mary shot in the dark succeeded. Then, he was forced into a tie with Say, but because he lost his vote, Say could still vote, which then led to a deadlock. And then Say was able to convince Cedric to vote Justin out because Justin did not tell Cedric about the fact that he lost his vote. A wild string of events that led to Justin going out. He was a good player, still played the middle, which you should do in Survivor. But wow, what an exit. Then we have Thomas. Throughout the first 4 episodes of the season, he was a major factor, definitely a villain character. I liked watching him. We saw him align with Bianca early. We'll talk about Bianca later. And I definitely thought Thomas was going to go far, but that ended up not being the case because of the switch. But he was with his California Girls Alliance. Then an idol play took him out of the game. Did not see that coming, but Thomas definitely was a main character and a prime strategic force within the game. Then we have Bianca. Bianca didn't do much until she was separated from Thomas, in which we got to see more of her strategic side and the plan that she pulled together in order to save herself because she didn't have a vote almost worked until she got cold feet and told Cedric, which led to her being blindsided. What a way to go out too. I am feeling it. If only she didn't tell, because things could have been different. And lastly, our last pre-merger, we have Charity. Possibly the worst player of the season. I'll get back to you on that once I do the overall player rankings, once the season concludes. We didn't see much of her. What we did see was sort of like in a negative way, was people calling her fake and ingenuine. But we did see her have some good moments, especially with Mitch. I would have liked to see Charity continue, but you get what you get. get, and she was an okay player, that I guess. Not much else to say. So, with that, let's start talking about the 12 players who are still in the game vying for the title Sole Survivor. First up, at number 12, I have Chrissy. The reason I have Chrissy here is because she's getting the invisible edit. Like, she's not being shown on the show whatsoever. I'm just speculating what her potential game and alliances are. And if I'm betting on a winner, I'm not going to bet on Chrissy because the show is making an active effort not to show her. Next, we add up number 11. I have Cedric. Cedric is getting a story. However, it's a very strange one as he's been a part of various major moments throughout the show so far. However, he's getting sort of not right at it. It's very strange and complex, and honestly, the strategic moves that he's doing is very contradictory, and I just don't have much faith in him being able to make it much farther into the game. Now, number 10, I have Say. Now, Say is getting a story. We do know where her alliances are. We do know where her game is at. However, she is getting one of the most villainous negative edits I have ever seen in the new era. And if she was going to go on to win this season, the show would not be doing this to her. And I just, like Cedric, have no real faith that Say can make it much farther into the game. Now at number 9, I have Mitch. Mitch, if you had asked me a couple episodes ago, Mitch would probably be higher, not too high, but higher than this. The last 2 episodes have just been a real dunk on Mitch, where he's both not been very present, but also has not been aware, as he was not part of the Bianca vote, and his number 1 ally in Charity just got blindsided. All in all, I don't think Mitch has much longer in this game. So, number 9. And now, at number 8, I have Star. Star has become a more active star, pun intended, in the game as of the last 2 episodes. In comparison to Mitch, Star has been getting more better positive content in the last 2 episodes in comparison to her first 4, where she was portrayed as aloof and sort of a negative edit. But now she's turning it all around, where she's now got alliances and relationships, and potentially can make it farther into the game. Do I think she'll win? No, not really. However, there's now more hope for Star to make it further in the game than the previous 4 that I have mentioned. Now, going from 7 onward, I believe every single one of these players has a real chance at winning the game. Now, mind you, 6 through 1 are like at the upper echelon, and 7 is in its own category, sort of like an underdog winner potential, but potential nonetheless. And therefore, at number 7, I have Mary. Mary is definitely the most prominent of the Vulas in a positive manner. We saw her being portrayed in a strategic manner, and have segments where she was a prime force in them. Now she's had a bit of a more quieter edit as of late. However, if the next few episodes go in her direction, I can see her becoming a real candidate for the win. I mean, she has a long way to go, but I see potential in her. Now we get into our top 6. All of these 6, I think, have the best chance to win this game. 3 Sifa and 3 Logi. So now, starting off at number 6, I have Kyle. Kyle has been shown in a very positive light, being both strategic and social, and is very likable, and we've seen him have good personal moments, and his alliance with Camilla is definitely one of the most important of the season. However, I have Kyle here because I just think his what we've gotten of him so far is just not enough for a guaranteed winner. He might make it farther into the game, but up against the wrong people, and he might come in third or something, or third or second. Now, moving on to number 5, I have David. A lot of people like David. I don't get it, but I do respect what he's done so far to have him this high up and have him as the potential winner. David's definitely been given the storyteller role, which we've seen before, or where he's narrating a lot of the scenes that are especially not exactly strategic. However, we do also know where his allegiances are. There was the likes of Kyle and Camilla, and also Eva, and now Joe. He's big on the whole honor and loyalty aspect of the game, and we have gotten a lot of personal stuff with him, like his love of milk and 4 nipples. Which, how do you have 4 nipples? We didn't go over that in biology. However, the reason I have to take David at number 5 instead of higher is because I just think there's a potential that the show is lining him up for a major fall, probably later on in the season. So for that reason alone, I have him at number 5. Now, number 4, I have our first Loggy member. I have Shahin. The reason I have Shahin at number 4 instead of probably higher, which people were expecting, is because even though we've gotten a lot of good personal content from him, such as like his strategic sense, where he recently got his way with the whole charity vote over Say, and we also saw some personal stuff with him that didn't need to be included. The reason I have Shahin at number 4, though, is because we got a whole negative episode where he was portrayed as being overconfident with the whole not knowing that Kyle had an idol, but also I'm just not sure where his allegiances truly lie. Like, I know he's closely aligned with Joe and Eva. That's where his core is. I'm just not sure if he can make it to the end of the game if he sticks with them or not. It's just a lot of question marks on if he does this right, or wrong, wrong, wrong. I do think Shahin is in for the long game. I'm just not sure if he can necessarily win at the end, given how uncertain I am of his path forward. Alright, we're at the top 3 now. It's time to get down to the nitty gritty and pick out who has the best chance to win this game. So, now at number 3, I have Camilla. Camilla has been portrayed very positively. I like how like the overall influence of her. We've seen her navigate through the Siva Beach, and throughout the Switch tribe, where she put on a master class. And her partnership with Kyle is definitely going to be one of the most important of the season. The reason I have Camilla at number 3 instead of higher is because she had a very quiet Mergatory episode, which really caused me concern. So, if Camilla wants to stay where she is, she needs to have another good episode right after this. Otherwise, though, I think she's far to go into the game. Top 2 now, and can you be surprised? Are you honestly not surprised that these are the top 2, Joe and Eva? The duo of the season, the stars, these ones that show the awareness that's personal to me as well. So it's a matter of which one edges out the other. And I believe I picked out the right person to be both number 2 and 1. So let's get into it. At number 2, I have Joe. Joe has been given the hero edit, the edit that everyone's been paying attention to ever since the beginning. It's all been about Joe, 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 Joe. How Joe is definitely going to win this game. And while I do support that Joe will make it far and has a real shot at winning, in fact, it seems like it's going to take the force of God in order to prevent Joe from winning this game. I'm not entirely convinced that he has this in the bag, as he's had a zero confessional episode, minor in the case of Joe. Also, however, what we've been seeing from him outside of his relationship with Eva has been pretty stale. Even though we've seen him strategically move through the game and develop relationships, I'm not certain how important they all are in comparison. In the grand scheme of things, Joe has the perfect edit so far. Although, being who I am, I think I see some things that other people haven't, so I'm following with my instincts on this one. And lastly, our number one, we have Eva. I've been supporting this girl from the beginning. I picked her as my female winner pick, and here we are. Beyond just the role of visibility that we've seen so far this season, Eva has also shown that she's social, strategic, and she has a hidden immunity idol right now, the only one in the game. Mind you, everyone knows about it, but I don't think that will play a big factor in the long term. We've seen where she stands in the game, where she has Joe and Shaheen from her original tribe. She has David from the Switch tribe. She seems to be getting close to both Kyle and Camilla now, and we also know that she's gained a new ally in Star. Essentially, Eva has everything that she needs to win the game. People have been knocking her on her age and possibly that people say, "Oh, she just followed Joe throughout the entire game." I don't necessarily buy into that. And the real reason why I chose Eva as my winner pick is because the trend with recent winners is that they've always been shown to have faced adversity in the pre-merge, and we saw that with Eva. We saw her have a have a rivalry with Charity in this last episode. Charity's now gone. We saw her on her original Lonnie tribe having conflict with Star. They're now friends, and she has Star's idol. The idol Star gave to her. We also saw Thomas and Bianca try to eliminate her in the early game. They're both gone now, back to back. So why would the show that unless they want to showcase Eva having faced adversity early on? That's something to think about right there. So with all that, the rankings are complete. I have Eva as my number one and Joe as number two, but honestly, just based on small differences, they can be switched out either way. And that is what I have to say about the rankings for all 12 players still in the game of Survivor 48. Alright, that's all I have to say for the rankings. Now, before I before I end the video and sign off, I want to talk real quick about the questionable Survivor 50 casting process. If you're a Survivor fan, you know that some public accusations have gone around about some questionable cutting choices for 50, such as like Carolyn, Jesse, Spencer, Coach, Cass, to name a few. So, and I'm currently holding in my hand a potential rumored 50 cast from Johnny Fairplay. Take it as a grain of salt. And honestly, what I'm seeing here, it could be the cast. Like, there's some definite choices that Jeff Probst would pick and have on the cast, like Kristen, Q, Malcolm, Sari, Rick Devens. There's also some questionable choices, such as like a Say, Colby, Amanda, Davey, Ty, Stephanie. I don't know. Take it as you will. Let me know what you think the current state of the Survivor 50 casting is down below, and just help with some clarification, because right now it's all over the place. With that, I bid you farewell. Continue watching Survivor 48. It's an incredible season so far, and by tonight, another player will be gone, and these rankings will change immediately. But I digress. Take care for now. Enjoy the season. Spread awareness wherever you can. Void Tune out.